Hey folks, welcome to the Film Photography Podcast. I'm here in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, live with the gang. We have Mr. Owen McCafferty.
Hey everybody.
John Fideli.
Hey baby, how you doing?
Mr. Matt Marrash.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And Mr. Mark O'Brien.
Hey there, y'all.
So this weekend, it's been action-packed, exciting weekend.
Jam-packed.
John Fideli and I rolled in from New Jersey with the native Clevelander, Owen McCafferty. Of course, Matt rolled down from Columbus, Ohio. Mark O'Brien from North Carolina rolled up from North Carolina. And we had an action-packed weekend. Trev Lee from thedarkroom.com. This weekend, he planned a Beers and Camera event last night, Friday, at a local brewery. And then this morning, there was a photo walk at Edda Coffee Joint. Coffee House. And that kind of rolls into our first topic, which is the camera, the Ansco Regent. So we went downtown, we walked around town, and Mark O'Brien, while he was downtown, thrifted this camera. We are seeing your comments. We will be interjecting if you have any comments or questions throughout the podcast. But Mark, for now, take it away and talk about the Ansco Regent.
When you go into an antique store, you don't usually expect to find a decent price on anything, and especially camera related, and because they seem to inflate the prices of old cameras like crazy. But I saw this camera, it was sitting on a shelf, and I realized it was a front drop folder 35 millimeter.
Did it call to you, Mark?
It called to me, and
How much?
I paid $30 for it. The nice thing about this camera is, yes, it's a vintage 35 millimeter camera. It's not a rangefinder though. It's a what you would call a scale focus, and it was made by Agfa for Ansco. Post-war, Agfa started making cameras again for Ansco. Bulb in 1 second to 1/300th of a second shutter speeds. It's got a f3.5 50 millimeter Agfa Apatar lens, which is probably not their best, but it's certainly okay.
It's okay for $30.
Yeah, for $30, man.
What kind of film does that take?
Take 35 millimeter. Right
Okay.
now I've got a roll of Kentmere 100 inside it. And because it is a scale focus camera, it's not a rangefinder, because you can tell that right away because there's only one window in the front. So if you see one of these with two windows, it's going to be the rangefinder version, which is going to be a little bit more expensive when they were new, certainly, and probably a little bit more expensive now.
Did you say that was made here or in Germany?
It was made in Germany. The Agfa camera that this is rebadged as an Ansco would be the Solonet 2. There's also an Ansco Super Regent, which is the one that which is the one that has the two windows, one for the rangefinder. The only thing wrong with this camera, everything seems to work perfectly, is that a lot of old Ansco and Agfa cameras, the focus helicals are stiff. If it was just stuck at infinity, I could shoot at f16 and almost anything would be okay. But right now it's at 3.5 feet. The lenses look good, and a while back I did a blog post about 35 millimeter folding cameras, and I talked about the Retinas and the Agfa cameras and others. And I think I neglected to mention this one because it does fold up and fits in your pocket, ready whenever you are to go take pictures. And that little front drop-down bed there is perfect for concealing the lens and keeping it protected while you're doing other things or transporting it. So,
How are those little bellows in there?
they look pretty good. I mean, they're not like
Bellows.
There's going to be it's not like a big 6x9 folder where the bellows are sticking way out. They should be pretty good. It does have a PC flash attachment, which stands for Prontur Computer, not personal computer. And that would go to any flash unit that's got that little adapter on there, and you can sit it on the cold shoe. Alternatively, you could find an old rangefinder attachment and put that up on top. All in all, $30 for something like this, I think is a pretty good deal. And if you were going around thrift shops or antique stores, keep your eyes open. You might find some other good buys, but as always, buyer beware, because antiques and thrift stores don't usually have a great track record of They don't look at everything to make sure it works.
Tend to be overpriced too sometimes.
Oh yes, I mean if you see I've seen places where an Argus C3 was priced at about $60. I'm thinking, man, you high hopes there. But yeah, it's one of those cameras that's it's a little surprise find, and I was glad to pick one up.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark.
Hey, you're welcome.
And folks at home, Matt, any comments coming in?
There are a ton of comments coming in, and let me just read a few of them. Just some shout-outs on some hey, how are yous.
Oh,
folks
yeah, cool.
Joining us here at FPP Live. So we've got Gabriel from Winnipeg, Canada. Agnes McNaughton. We have, hey,
Hi, guys.
Darren Riley's here.
Hey, Ballard.
Love seeing you. We have Michael from Riverside, California. We've got Laura's here. Laura's moderating comments right now. So
Oh, very nice.
She's going to bat for us upstairs. Let's see. We have Barry. Let's see. Mark Foles here. Trucker Grumpy is here. Tim Fitzwater's here. Very cool. Let's see. Brandon Nedwick, longtime FP.
Oh, yes.
is
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Gus is saying excellent camera work, John. So
Why,
fantastic.
thank you, Gus.
Yeah, he's John's
John,
killing it here.
30 years experience doing that.
That's right.
Yeah, he's the
And
man.
still steady. Steady.
Handheld, folks.
Steady-ish.
Yeah. Let's see. Agnes McNaughton saying, don't feel under any certain pressure.
Pressure.
Perfect.
The pressure.
All right.
And believe it or not, we actually have a little bit of a plan.
Sort of.
Oh.
Which is a lot more than I can say for our really early shows, which I would just come to the table and... we're doing an experiment to try to capture the joy of Film Photography Podcast
Visually.
visually.
We have a studio audience. Hey, guys, doing back up there. Thanks for coming in.
For our really early shows, which I would just come to the table and,
See what happens.
just see what happens. So... in a second, we are going to talk about the Reveni Incident Light Meter, which is a new product. And then it is 100 years, 16 millimeter film is 100 years old. Owen McCafferty's heading up a topic on that. And then, of course, if there are any topics or any questions that, drive us to a different direction, we'll the Incident Light Meter, this is a new product. If you're unfamiliar with using light meters, Matt, I'm sure you're going to talk a little bit about the difference between what is an incident light reading, what is a reflective, what is a spot meter,
Absolutely.
and what is this product?
Yeah, so this is, it's kind of interesting. It's like a little bit of everything. So the Reveni Incident is, obviously it's an incident meter. It's got the little dome right there. But the cool thing about it is, I only told Matt at Reveni Labs, the only way I would test this device, it were, in fact, something that could also handle flash photography as well, which is a real challenge with the style of sensors and programming that Matt's the only guy doing all of that stuff, which is kind of crazy. So he started off with a lot of different types of 3D prints, and then of course he came out with the spot meter, which was wildly successful. And this is his kind of next evolution. So
Why? I have a question. If you
yeah,
can every meter do flash photography, or only certain meters can do flash photography, or what? Why should I care about
Yeah.
flash photography in a meter?
that's a great question. So not every meter has the ability to do flash. So we kind of were spoiled in I'd say the 70s through the mid to currently with Sekonic meters, which are just amazing and do so many things. Mm-hmm. We assume any other new product will be able to do it, but think of the simple meter that's in a smartphone or is in maybe really low end point and shoot cameras. They may not have the ability to meter that instantaneous flash as it comes. It actually requires more sensitivity and the ability to have a window in which it's measuring,
Because it's
that
metering
pulse.
as the flash happens, right? It's instantaneous.
It's looking for that bright pulse
yeah.
that's brighter than the background level. So think of how quickly the response time is on something like a security light outside. It's got to be a lot more responsive than that. So
Heck yeah.
it's a pretty neat achievement to be able to do that in something that's also really affordable. So on the incident meter itself, it's obviously really small. It's got this little elastic here which allows me to put my fingers in. And the cool thing is now I can shoot, and then I can just pop a meter reading here. So if I turn it on, it's got a nice bright display right there, which is sweet. It has a few different modes. It's got the incident meter up top, which is the little dome. It also has the reflected meter, which will show as REFL, I think, for reflected mode. It has flash metering, and it also has cine metering, which cine metering is just going to give you like those different shutter speeds that coordinate to like the different shutter angles that are available, which is pretty cool. The display itself is also really nice and easy to read, and this was a bonus that I found out once I got the meter, it also has color temperature, so the K for Kelvin,
nice.
it's got Kelvin degrees in terms of temperatures. So all of this in a very tiny package that runs on AAA batteries, which is great. It has a little mini phone sync port in there if you wanted to wire up. I haven't tried wired up, but the instantaneous flash on there is great. And
Mike, can your Gasoluna Pro do all that?
Yes.
Gossin Luna Pro F.
Gasoluna Pro.
Yes.
what's a Gossin go for nowadays?
I haven't priced. It was maybe 8-10 years ago, anywhere between $40 and $80.
Oh.
But I don't know what it is.
It's a
these
bargain.
days. Yeah.
That's still pretty good, but
Yeah.
we're also considering
It's old technology and it's vintage. So.
Yeah, so this is like something new. It's going to have a warranty with it.
Yep.
And these guys, Matt is making these for $250 Canadian, which roughly right now it's about $185. So actually around the same price as what the spot meter launched at, but this has a lot more versatility. And this was a hit at Beers and Cameras last night because they saw me. They're like, "What's he doing? Is he going to like whistle and like signal somebody?" But no.
I saw Trev Lee this morning using a meter to get a flash.
Yes, he's handed you the meter and
Yes.
he's like, "Hey, can I pop?" And he was using that little Godox flash,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Do you recall what meter he had?
That was just the simple Sekonic. That was the Sekonic L308S, the classic student meter.
Okay.
Now that one is almost, I think that's like $250 or $300 now.
Whoa.
So
That's new, brand new?
That's brand new. So this is more versatility, plus-
Lighter, smaller, right?
Yeah, the fact that it also has in with it color temperature.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the cheapest color meters out there. Now,
Oh, yeah.
is it hyper accurate? No, but it's within 100 Kelvin. which
It
is
should. Sun is like 5,600 degrees Kelvin.
great. Yeah, 55
Yeah.
to 6,000. Yeah,
Indoor
And
light is
tungsten light
3,200.
is 3,200.
3,200. Yep.
So if you know those two bases, that broad daylight is 56, then by looking at your meter, you'll know based on what type of film that you're shooting of what color you're going to get on your film.
Isn't there a Kelvin listing on some films?
Yeah, and on motion picture films, it even has the so if you're shooting this film in this is what you need to do. It'll have what you need to compensate filter-wise and all that good stuff. Yeah.
When you shoot in a golden hour, so as the sun is going down and you shoot and it's a beautiful golden hue, that's because the color temperature of the world
It's dying.
is changing.
Much like the world, it's dying.
Yes, is changing, and it's getting more of a warm color temperature. So it's a fascinating topic.
You know, this is a good time, though. We can do some shout-outs of, like, who's in the comments, because we're up to 63 people that are watching the live right now. So thank you all so much. And you know what? Everybody in the chat, give a shout-out to John, because John is, like...
Doing the most work.
He's doing so much work. He's going to have, like, a sore arm just moving that thing around
Yeah.
so much. Okay, so we have, let's see, Wild Bill Green. We have
Oh,
DM
Wild
from...
Bill, what's up, Bo?
We have DM from Scotland.
Okay.
We have Thomas Murray.
I know Tom.
John LaPierre. Greetings from the dirty South.
Oh, dear.
LaPierre.
Tom Murray is one of the few FPP listeners that I actually let in the facility.
Oh, that's
Oh,
rarity.
he must be special.
That's
Yeah.
it's rare. No, Tom was one of our very first movie film customers.
Oh, Tom's great. I love Tom.
Okay.
We should have him on the show.
Gary S. from the Channel Islands, California. Loves the Mummy film.
Oh, terrific. I got it right here.
Yeah, represent the Mummy film. Now, Mike, you were saying that's got to be like one of the most popular ones that we're selling now, right?
The Mummy seems to be... Frankenstein and the Mummy are the most popular.
What about
Speed
Dracula?
People aren't talking about the count too much.
Is it because what Mummy is 400?
Yes.
Ah, there you go.
Yes.
There it is.
And the count's 64, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like the count.
Yeah.
Me too.
Who do you like, Count Dracula or...
Count FN 60.
See, this is the conversation. See, I named the films of these monsters because, see, these are the exact same conversations I would have as a 7-year-old. I'd be like, John, do you like the Mummy or do you like Dracula?
Booberry.
Nice.
Hey, you know, when we were at the Beers and Cameras last night, I was just checking out how many people had these relatively new external meters on their cameras. And
On top of their cameras.
on top of their cameras, and quite a few actually. And I think that's one of the great things that's happened in the past, 5 years or less, really, are these small, relatively inexpensive external light meters, and you can give those old manual cameras a much longer life because, it's more fun to use if you've got a meter.
And any idea of brands that exist for like top of camera these days?
There's a bunch. I mean, we all know about Reveni Labs,
Yeah,
but there's the
theirs.
Duomo meters, and there's some other ones fairly inexpensive. And I've tested a few out. They're on my blog and Random Camera blog. Give them a look if you're looking for something besides your phone. Because
Phone's good,
the thing
but,
with the
yeah.
phone is, it's great, but you got to pull it out and
Yeah,
but
it's
thing-
another
what's on
thing to
your-
hold.
Yeah.
When it's on your it takes two hands to use that camera usually. So
And I like the smaller meters because like there's a lesser chance that you're gonna like forget it. Like,
Yes.
you usually
Yeah.
like have it on you. It fits in the bag.
Right.
That was like the whole thing that drew me to the Reveni. Initially, was like, oh, I don't have to take a lens out or anything else to put it in. The big Sekonic, I love it, but like it's a whole spot. And if you're doing a pocket camera, it's bigger than the camera you're using. It's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
Next week, Ozzie and Harriet will be brought to you by Eastman Kodak Company. Now, the easiest way you've ever seen to put good times in movies can be yours at the lowest cost in Kodak history. Just watch this. Here is a remarkable new electric eye movie camera from Kodak. It's the new Kodak Automatic 8, the lowest priced electric eye movie camera that Kodak has ever made. Less than $50. It has a built-in electric eye that sets the lens automatically for correct exposure. It even warns you when there isn't enough light. All you do is aim and press the button, and whether your subject is in sunlight, like this, or in shade, like this, you get clear, bright movies of all your good times automatically to share for years to come. You'll find the Kodak Automatic 8 movie camera now at your Kodak dealers, where you see this Cameraland display. Why not visit him this week and see everything that's new for picture taking?
Hey, we're back. Our next topic is 16 millimeter film. And if you're not a movie film shooter or you haven't gotten into it,
Shame on you.
the thing that I really, and I mentioned it to quite a few people at the Beers and Camera event last night, is that all of the film that we currently have available on 16 millimeter or Super 8 or regular 8, all of these films are available for still photography. In talking about motion picture photography, for me at least, and I've said this before on the show, What show? It's like, to me, if you're a still shooter, you could still find this interesting because any of the films we're talking about are available for whatever still camera you're using. And of course, if you want to get into motion picture cinematography, now is the time, because all of the formats that weren't available just a few years ago, like regular 8mm, double perforated 16mm, which is used for those older wind-up 16mm cameras, is now available through the Film Photography Project.
And magazine film.
And, yeah, 16mm magazine film, 8mm magazine film. And it just so happens, and we haven't really talked about it, mentioned it, but it just happens to be 100 years ago that 16mm film was invented by Eastman Kodak.
A little bit different than the first 16 millimeter camera that Kodak
Yeah.
made.
Matt's a camera, by the way, just really quick.
Oh, uh-oh.
I just want to mention, so when Matt gets in, he goes in deep, much deeper than us.
I go way too deep. That's
Yeah.
my problem.
So
yeah.
I'm still, working with the wind-up cameras, but Matt's well advanced with his Aeroflex 16, and you know what's going to happen. 35mm cinematography.
I can't, Mike. I can't. Lauren's watching. I can't talk about this.
Okay.
I'm gonna already in deep.
You can always sell your house.
Yeah, who needs to live?
So the first motion picture format was 35mm, which was used for all of the famous silent movies. And then at some point, I guess 1923, Eastman Kodak decided to make a different format designed for the consumer, just moms and dads and families. So take it away, Owen. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, it was hard to figure out how long Kodak had been working on it. I saw some numbers that it took them 9 years to develop it. Some said 3. But we know that on January 8th of 1923, a guy named Dr. Mies, who was the director of Kodak's research labs, debuted the camera and the complete outfit of 16 millimeter, and he did it at East High School in Rochester. And at the beginning of the presentation, what was really amazing at the time is he had people from the audience get on stage, and he took this 16 millimeter camera, which was really, it was a box with a flap in the front for the lens and a crank on the side.
Yeah.
And he took motion pictures of a few people, and he said, by the time my speech is over, we're going to process this film and we'll be able to watch it. And we're going to compare it to 35 millimeter to show you that the quality is just as good. So it was touted as a huge achievement, the biggest achievement that Eastman Kodak had made since debuting, the Kodak camera for everybody. And just like you said, it was really designed. The vision was a movie camera that anybody could use. The problem is it cost $335 in 1923. That's about $6,000 in today's money. So it was not really for everybody, but there was more focus on the camera itself. The film was almost they really wanted to make a camera that was smaller than most 35 millimeter. So the film 16 millimeter, which today has become an iconic film that's used in documentaries and television, etc., that really was born out of this necessity of making a camera and a projector that was smaller. So they released the Cine Kodak and the Kodascope projector. It was an outfit that you could buy. During the presentation, they touted how it could be used in low light with a really quick 3.5 f lens, which is hilarious considering the film sensitivity was really low. And you could also purchase film for it. In 1930, so just a little, almost 10 years later, a roll. If you think 16 millimeter film is expensive today, 100 foot of black and white film in 16 millimeter would cost you $750, which is about $135 today.
Oh, so it's cheaper today.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Oh my gosh,
Yes, much cheaper. A roll of Kodacolor, which was some of the first 16 millimeter color film, was $9 or about $162 a roll today. So about 10 years later, they released Kodachrome in 16 millimeter, which of course was a huge advancement. The cameras continue to get smaller and much more affordable. And then after the war is really where 16 millimeter started to become even more accessible for professionals. The idea that you could take a film camera out on the battlefield or take it onto a crash on the road. The portability of the format is the reason why it became so widely used in documentaries and television and small movies. Today, of course, 16mm is still available. Thanks to the FPP, we have more availability in double perf 16mm film, which normally we only had single perf, which only newish cameras could use. It was available it's available right now in all film types, so color negative, color reversal, black and white negative, black and white reversal. There's a number of films that some people might know that were shot either in whole or in part on 16. Jackie, which was about Jackie Onassis.
That was Super 16. Yeah.
That was Super 16, yep. Moonrise Kingdom, 2012.
Classic
Really?
Movie.
That was
Yes.
16 mil?
Really good 16.
Desperately Seeking Susan.
Maybe a
really?
little less known.
True.
Black Swan in 2010, and the first Clerks movie in 1994 also.
Black Swan.
Evil Dead, 1982.
That's right. Iconic.
Tag Your It, 1986. William
Cut his
Patterson,
mic off. Cut
William
his mic
Patterson
off.
College.
That's right.
Professor Susan Tarbox.
Producer.
And the reason now that it is most accessible with double perf, again, not to tout the FPP, but that is a huge advancement because it also allowed us to reintroduce another 16mm format, the 16mm magazine, which there's so many great cameras out there for that format.
Here's one of them.
There's one of them, Bell & Howell.
Show John.
Yeah, how do you like that? So
Okay.
that's a Bell & Howell 16mm magazine camera. These are great because look how small this camera is.
Yeah.
And it's 16mm.
That's
And to
crazy.
load it, all you have to do is take your 50 feet preloaded with 16mm film, and just like Super 8, you drop it in and you go.
Mike, what flavors of 16 cartridge do we have at FPP?
Oh, for 16 millimeter magazine, we have black and white negative film. We have black and white reversal film. So the negative film is 100. The reversal film is ISO 40. We have color Ektachrome, ISO 100. And then, of course, we have 50D Vision 3 color. We have 500T Vision 3 color. And and soon our Sun FPP Sun color, which is a specialty film, ISO 1.
So day before yesterday, I went on the store. Right now, if you go to to our website, there are 17 different 16 millimeter films you could buy. 17.
Crazy.
And it was not that long ago where it's like you had like 5, 6.
And I always want to say we're very excited about this stuff. This isn't like an infomercial running like the 800 number underneath. Go now.
But wait,
and get
there's
it.
more.
But operators are standing by.
Yeah, no, we're just very excited about this stuff. And the reason why this stuff shows up in the FPP store is because we all shoot it. And if we don't shoot it in 16, we're shooting it still photography in our still cameras. So the FPP Sun 1, just call FPP Sun Color.
Ooh.
Or Sun 1.
Oh.
This is the latest film. It's not released yet. Comes in 35 millimeter. It's color negative, process C41, ISO, gulp 1. But what's amazing about this to me is that it's also available in double perforated 16 millimeter.
Ooh, which
So-
that's actually better for a lot of those cameras, right? They were designed for the slower stuff.
Most hobbyists, most folks shooting 16 millimeter are shooting with their Bolex or their
16
wind-up
frames per
Keystone, and don't really need Super 16. So if your camera can take single perf, it can take double perf as
Correct.
well. If your camera takes single perf, there are some Super 16 or Ultra 16 cameras that have a wider gate. I mean, these are a little more advanced topics.
Yeah. No, if you're shooting movie film, you don't need to be afraid of lower ISO because standard 16 frames per second, you're looking at 1/35th of a second. That's really, I mean, imagine shooting 1/35th on your camera. I mean, you know,
Slow.
it's very slow.
It's a lot of light coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't bump up much when you go to 24 frames per second, which
Yeah.
is your standard for sound.
A lot of first-time movie shooters, the first grab is always the 500T because everyone wants speed, but
You don't need it.
you really don't need it because of your low shutter speed. You actually need in daylight a lower. So for me, 40 ISO or 50 ISO is perfect. And any of the super lower ISO films, if you're shooting in broad sunlight, beautiful.
Yeah.
Even ISO 1, it's very
But
manageable.
what is great about 500T is that you can take that because your shutter speed is 1/35th. You could take that to a concert
Yeah.
or a dimly lit room or an event and get a really good picture, especially given it's a negative film. It's got great latitude. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's
I have a
nothing-
question.
Yes?
So in the beginning, if you see all these cameras, they have the film settings for very low film speeds. When did the faster 16 millimeter film speeds start to become available to the consumer?
Oh, John was saying it's like on the side of most cameras you
It's
have
like 40
you have
ASA.
Yeah, 40 is like the highest. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a little cheat sheet on the side of the camera that was designed for the 1950s. So many times the listings on the side of the camera that tell you how to set your f-stop are incorrect because back in the day, Eastman Kodak Company really their film didn't say what ISO it was. It was
Right.
just
Kodacolor.
Kodacolor,
Yeah.
probably ISO 25 or maybe lower.
Depends. I mean, you had 15, 25, and 40 eventually.
And then you had your black and white ISO 10. So all these charts on the side of these old cameras are steering you so when you set your, and we see it all the time at the FPP in our developing scanning process, folks are using the chart and everything comes back overexposed.
Cooked.
Yeah. So you get your Reveni light meter out.
Get it out. Yep.
Yeah. And meter for your cinematography.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question.
Uh-oh.
what was
Whoa.
My question was, when did
did they
these
come out?
faster speeds become available? Because now you have 500T. They obviously weren't available back in the day.
Kodachrome 40, which was at that point was the highest they had made until they came out with, I think, 160. Was there a Kodachrome 160 at one point? Or am I thinking of Ektachrome?
In still photography,
Yeah.
there was Kodachrome higher ISOs. Kodachrome 200.
I think 40 was the highest
Yeah.
in movie film.
I
And
think there
that
was
came
like-
out in the mid to late 60s.
I think there was a dark era before Vision. No, I'm serious.
Literally dark.
Before Vision 3 films became available as Super 8.
Yeah.
Where there were
Tri-X was the highest you could get. That's
Yeah.
200 ASA, but that's black and white reversal.
How we doing with questions? Any folks listening, Matt?
There are a lot of folks listening, and we have some decent contributions and questions in here. I'm troubleshooting a few questions in the comments, but
Okay.
we had one from Angel Roca. He asked about focal lengths in 16. So I explained that normally you double it. So if you want a
Lens.
24, so if you want a 24 millimeter, you need a 12. But if you put a 24 on, it's now a 48. So a lot of lenses get longer, especially if you're adapting from like 35 millimeter. And then I also was fielding one, was double perf the original, and it kind of was. And
Yes.
then registration pin systems, and then sound. pushed out that other perf, and then they started doing
Yes.
separates and all that stuff. But there's a surprising amount of FPPers that are that are 16 shooters.
Good for you guys.
I think the podcast today was a good kick in the butt for people to send in the 16 that they maybe have already shot. But let's see.
Yeah, that's it. Very interesting. So we have this program at the FPP for 8mm and 16mm magazines. And you buy the magazine and you're buying the package. You're buying the magazine, the processing, and the scanning.
Because the magazine has to come back. It's not a one-time use magazine.
The magazine kind of officially belongs to the FPP. We're loaning it to you. You shoot your film, you send it back, and then we take the film out, and then Owen reloads the magazine so that it's available for the next customer. So in theory, folks should get their film, shoot it, and send it back. But
It doesn't happen.
Where are they?
Yeah, so every day I'm asking Owen, almost every day, where are these magazines?
What are you people doing out there? What are you doing with the magazines?
They don't come back. So we have at least 100.
There's 135 out right now.
Oh, wow.
16.
16, yeah.
And probably about 108.
There's 95, I think, of
Yeah.
8, yeah.
So when we go out of stock and it's like no magazines in stock, it's because you folks are not sending them back.
Are you gonna Are you gonna be like Blockbuster? Are you gonna have like overage fees on stuff?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the
I'm
door.
going to come and get you.
FPP police.
Yeah, FPP police. Absolutely.
So I, as much as, as fast as I can, I go on eBay.com and I buy more magazines. But the folks selling them on eBay.com, they want a lot of money.
Way too much.
A lot of money for an old Kodachrome magazine. So we don't care about the film. We just want the magazine. So we're going to gut out the Kodachrome film, and we're going to reload it with fresh
So if
film.
you're out there and you're sitting on a stack of magazines, Owen at filmphotographyproject.com.
That's right.
Or Michael.
Remember, I showed you
photographyproject.com.
a Kodachrome package the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And you got because every time we get some stuff in for the donation programs, I find some Kodachrome. I put it in a little museum on the wall.
Yes.
In the boxes, and there was a 16mm one night. I'm like, "Hey, Mike, check it out, the Kodachrome Museum," and his eyes lit up.
It was,
There was a magazine.
It was
in
an
there.
8mm
It was an
magazine.
8mm.
Nice.
I'm like, how long has that been sitting there?
For a while.
Yeah.
4 years.
We need them. I mean, we load them up as quick as we can
Yep.
to put them in the store. So,
Okay. Yeah.
what are the kind of cool questions we have?
I don't.
Or is it
Meaning
time
of
to
life.
go?
No, we're doing great. We're
Okay.
at we're not even at 40 minutes. So
Okay.
we're cruising. We're hitting all the topics and stuff. So less magazine shooters in the comments. We have some folks that are rocking Bolex. I see Rex 5 here in the comments.
Oh, nice.
Oh, money bags. Money
yeah.
bags.
Look, so Mike, the Bolex they're sweet.
Yes.
I love that Bolex. I just mentioned had you guys do the 250D for my friend
Yes.
Cheyenne. She's getting that Bolex SBM, that one that's like minty. The gate on those scans, Mike, there was no dust, no cream. It was like perfect. It looked fake. It was so clean.
Yeah.
The borders on
That was your first time, like, seeing a Bolex in person
Yes.
and shooting with one.
And I helped her load it, and I was like, I don't need to do anything here. It just
Yeah,
it like
no, they're
takes
beautiful.
It, zip.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's nice.
Now, I know prices vary on the Bolex on eBay.com, but I always say, like, I bought my Bolex in 1985. I bought my Bolex in 1985. It was $500, and I go on eBay, and they're $500. Like, it has
If you're
changed.
buying a non-reflex, yeah, you can find
You
them
can
pretty
find
cheap.
a working reflex Bolex for $500
Really?
if you're patient.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of the
I got
same
no
way
patience.
when Matt's shopping for 16mm accessories or cameras. We'll share texts. Oh, hey, check that. What do you think? I always say, like, sit tight, because if you're patient, whatever you're looking for on eBay will eventually show up. A lot of folks, have gear and they don't know anything about the gear, and they just want to just move it. So
Yeah.
that's where you can find deals.
All right, questions are rolling in now.
Okay.
All right, so we have one from Anthony Tantillo. He asks, can a Minolta 16 MG use any 16mm movie film for a 20 exposure film load? I'm guessing that's stills 16. Is that like micro cameras?
Oh,
Must be.
that would be Minolta 16.
Yeah, MG. Yeah.
Can it use any?
Any 16mm movie film for the film loads. It
Yes.
can, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just bulking it down is the whole deal.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Great.
depends on the gate in the camera of whether you'll see sprocket holes or not.
Does the FPP sell
Microfilm?
microfilm? Or not
Minolta
microfilm,
16, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can get film that has no perfs. You can get film that is single perf or double perfed. Sometimes the perfs look cool. I mean, it depends on the person and you know if you like perfs in your photography. The perfs do not drive the film through the camera in the Minolta 16. The cartridge has like a gear system. So your camera is, when you forward it, it's hitting.
It's like a 110 cartridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But no
never knew
backing, right? No backing paper.
No backing paper. No.
Oh, here we go. We got some more comments. So Mark Hanna says, "You guys convinced me to get a Zeiss Movicon, and I love it."
It's
Nice.
so. I was gifted the Movicon 8 by Leslie Lazenby. It just showed up in a box.
It's a very
I wasn't
Leslie
expecting
cam.
it. I opened it up. I had no idea what it was. I never saw anything about it. I never knew anything about it. Called her, thanked her, went online, looked at some videos. It is the most beautiful, smooth,
It's German engineering.
camera that I own. It is so
Because I
precise.
have to say, I don't understand I mean, I've used them. They're beautiful to look at, but I don't get it's like one of the last cameras I would.
A lot of the older wind up 16 millimeter cameras and double 8 cameras. Sometimes you can get a little shakiness in your camera gate, but the Movicon 8 is so precise that there's really no movement, so you get like a rock solid picture. I'm going to be shooting with it probably when I get back to New Jersey.
Nice. All right, we got some more comments, questions. Let's see. Oh, Kivo M says, "I'm a regular FPP customer from Washington.
Thank you.
Love your guys' service. Can't wait to get my Vegas 16 mil footage back.
Oh, cool.
I'm about to go to Greece and shooting some
Whoa.
Super 8s.
Wow.
That's
Super
pretty
8.
awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let me talk really briefly about the system because everyone sends their film to the FPP and everyone wants it back fast. Matt and Marrash included.
I'm bugging Mike
Yeah.
daily if he gets the film.
But it's really, I mean, it used to be 20, 30 years ago that Motion Picture Labs ran film every day. And it really was, that's where the term dailies came from.
Yeah.
You shoot your movie, let's say you're shooting your 16 millimeter Evil Dead backyard type epic. You shoot your movie, bring it to the lab, and then the next day you go pick up your work print and you could watch what you shot. Labs have really scaled down. So Motion Picture Labs, many of them closed. New York doesn't have a lab anymore. LA probably only has 1 or maybe 2 labs left. Don't quote me. But the process takes much longer. So we batch film. So I was going to do a little animated video, but I haven't done it yet, which is, the mailman delivers the film to FPP.
Postman Pat.
Justin takes the package, puts it in a bin. Now, if I'm working on the previous batch, we do batches twice a month, the 1st and the 15th. If I'm still working on the previous batch, it'll just sit in the bin for a few days. Because people, where's my film? Where's my film? Did you check my film in yet?
Film.
Yeah, I need my film. Then when I get to the film, I have to check it in. I have to catalog it by what type of film it is. So if you're a black and white negative film or black and white reversal film, color negative film, color reversal, they all go to different lab departments because it's a different process. Black and white negative is D96. Ektachrome, color reversal is E6. Reversal process is its own unique black and white process. So once it gets tagged for which lab department, then it has to go to the lab department. And of course, the labs are not running every single day, batches. So then once they batch it, then it comes back through the system. Then it goes right to our scan department. And then it has to be sorted by type, scanned, color graded, which is a key factor that the FPP offers that I feel is very unique. Then finally your scan is done and it comes back, goes right back to Justin and goes out the door.
Now, the only exception is if you use Scotch tape on the film can.
I'll actually call Owen up if I
man.
find, because it's like that Peter.
Please.
It's like that Family Guy Peter Griffin video with the Saran wrap.
Just sitting there for
It takes
an hour.
an hour to take off.
Well, generally speaking, you should not use tape in your movie camera, and certainly not Scotch tape to tape up your, let's say your little tin, because you can't. 10 minutes can go by.
Can't get a purchase on it.
So everyone's film is in a big bin system, and I'm checking it in as fast as I can. But all of a sudden I stop because I have to and I will call Owen, pick up the phone. Owen, I'm sitting here, and someone
he's usually growling at this point.
This is Scotch taped up. I can't get the film out.
We have a comment on more favorite cameras. Joseph Brunges.
Hey,
Hey, Joby.
The most beautiful cucumber camera is the Filmo 75.
it looks like somebody etched it by hand.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. fresh question from Josh Crosby. Any possibilities on FPP reviving 127?
A 127 roll film.
Yes.
I wish I had like a
Cut to
really.
black. Okay.
I really wish I had a straightforward answer, folks. I mean, I really do, because of this format. You see, all of these formats that Eastman Kodak released in the 40s, 50s, 60s. When Eastman Kodak downsized in 2012, 2013, they imploded. Literally, it was on the news. They imploded their buildings. Like, they downsized.
Scrapped all their machines.
Scrapped many of their machines. So all of these formats, 127, 126 cartridge film, Kodak 110 cartridge film, all went away. And it's just the miracle of folks like Lomography who happen to know, find, or purchase a 110 machine to get 110 cartridges back in the market. So pre-pandemic, there was 127 film available coming from Japan that Freestyle was selling.
Is that the Rare pen?
Yeah, Rare pen.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, it just went away. And
the problem is not so much it'd be easy to find somebody to cut the film down to 127. The problem is backing paper, attaching the backing paper. I mean, there's just no way to do it at
It's a whole
scale.
thing.
The scale that people are demanding.
Exactly.
Because Ilford will sell you backing paper, but you
Yeah.
have to buy like 300 rolls worth of just the paper, and then the film is a even larger MOQ than that.
And I mean, the spools, those are easy to get made. I mean,
Yeah.
all the ingredients are there. It's the machine that puts it all together, that literally puts it all together.
It'd be very similar to what FPP did with 620. So FPP 620 black and white is factory made, only because through trial and error we were able to find a production factory that will able to take our spools.
Mm-hmm.
So we send them a huge batch of spools, and they will actually do a batch of FPP black and white 620 film. We have not been fortunate enough to find a factory that has a 127 machine. So
It's probably up to the Italians at Ferrania. They're the only ones we know that have the machine to do it.
John,
Oh,
you know
is that
anybody
right?
over there?
Same with the
Yeah, I got
126.
a guy.
You got a guy.
Why, you need a guy? I got
John and I are going to take a trip to Italy.
Put my guy in touch with your guy.
Okay.
Have a chat.
Yeah.
Going to where?
Italy.
Italy. That's
Yeah.
what I thought you said.
Yeah, Ferrania, Italy.
Ferrania in Italy.
Ooh, these wise
Like
guys.
we
See the
opened a
guy.
can of worms. Comments
Oh.
are 127, 127, 127.
126 though. Come on, folks. That's where it's
No,
at.
I will. About once a year, I will put an inquiry into all of our known film partners to say any opportunity for 127.
Okay, so now we're gassing people up about the idea of 16. We're putting everyone's helping out each other in the comments. What 16 should people look out for? So let's start with just a double perf, just a good starter 16, maybe double or single. What's
Kodak Model K.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
I'm going to have to disagree with Owen on that.
Oh boy.
I would go with the
RFlex.
No,
You're going to go Criterion Deluxe, aren't you?
Keystone.
Yeah.
So they go in numbers. Keystone A3, Keystone
Those are great.
A7,
A9,
Keystone A9, Keystone
A12,
A12.
and then like a 15.
I do think that the Kodak motors hold up better though compared to the Keystone. I've had a number of Keystones that were needed unpacked.
Well, the
new
Kodak
grease.
is just so much older, right?
No, they made they made the Model K from the 1930s all the way up to I think the mid to late 40s. So they made it over a course of like a decade.
You're not going to go. So I'm not like in disagreement with Owen.
And
I
by the
just
way,
have my favorites.
By the way, you can very easily. Anybody can do this. I promise you. If I can do it, you can do it. If you want to turn it into a single perf camera, you just take a metal file. You file down the second row of teeth
On the take-up,
on the
right?
take-up, and you just clip off with like a pair of nippers. You clip off one of the claws, and I've done it on every single one I've owned, and so I can use double perf, single perf.
You
Easy
sound
peasy.
like now we're FPP. You
No,
sound like
that's
the
great.
guys who are like just use 120 and 620 camera. You just take your nail file and you just clip off the edges.
It's literally 15 minutes. You've got.
But
a
some
camera
people
that does
like
both.
me, I'm thinking for me and other listeners, like some people just don't have the power or like to go in and actually like. Do you know what I'm saying? Like not
This
not-
coming from the guy that taped a wide-angle lens on his video camera.
It's true.
Taped it
A minute
true.
ago.
a minute ago.
Well, I think the most important thing is for folks who find a camera to acknowledge that it takes double perf film.
Yes. you can buy both. That's the good news. It just make sure you know what you're buying.
What about the Filmo cameras?
Oh.
Or the IMOs?
Those are getting really
IMO's
expensive.
35 millimeter.
Okay, so the Filmo.
The Filmo, yeah, those are great. I mean, but they get expensive.
They have a lot of hype around them.
They do. They're great.
Yeah.
But there's a number of later Bell & Howell cameras that are similar to the Filmo that are also, in my opinion, are way underrated.
They're not as tanky though, right?
Exactly.
That's like the whole thing.
Yeah, the Filmos are tanky.
Well,
And magazine. If you've, in my opinion, if you've never shot 16 and you don't know whether you'd like it, that's an easy way to get into the format, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the cameras are
the selection's
so
ready to
cheap.
go. You just pop it in.
Exactly.
The great thing about the Keystones is no one's going to get hurt. They're so no, really.
unless you chuck one at somebody.
They're so cheap.
Threat of violence.
Yeah.
They're so cheap. Like Mark, you gifted me the A12,
Right.
and I've been carrying you gifted it to me. It does its usual 6 months sit on a shelf. Then I'm like, oh, holy shit!
What is this?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
YouTube shut us down.
Go on. Go on.
The great thing about the Keystones is they're so compact. You can literally put them in a shoulder bag, and carry them with you everywhere. Whereas the Filmos, beef.
Where's the beef?
Beef.
Yeah, you need a case. You need a case.
Yeah, they're made out of cast iron.
Yeah, I mean they're terrific, but they're not easily they're not grab and go.
And I also think, although I think now, unfortunately, with the war in Ukraine, it's harder to get the Krasnogorsk 3, and I know neither one of you really love that camera.
Yeah.
There's one I like better than a K3 though.
That Krasnogorsk made?
I don't know if Krasnogorsk made it, but the Kiev 16U.
Yes.
I love that little
Yeah,
cam.
that's
I
the
love
one
form
with the
factor.
three.
It's got a turret. It's
yeah.
like we have the Ari at home.
Mm-hmm.
The Ari at home is and it uses the same like weird mount that some of the other like Soviet cameras use, the mirror mount, I think.
Yeah.
And it comes in two flavors. There's the hand crank one, which is better, and then there's the electronic one, which is like you're gonna have to clean it.
Takes a
and
weird
rewire
battery
it.
pack too, doesn't it? The electronic one.
Well, you can like adapt it for AA's or lithium ion, but you have to rewire stuff, and it's like it's a whole thing. But
all of those are getting hard now to get out of Europe, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like a question mark. So the shipping's cheap, but you basically have to like, hope in 6 months it's going to get
exactly.
The camera I bought, which Matt turned me on to.
I'm sorry, I feel like I set you up, Mike.
Matt's like, oh, hey, I'm going to buy this camera. And it wasn't even like, oh, no, you're not. I'm going to buy it. The guy had like,
in fairness, I told you to pull the trigger also. I said, you have to buy that.
No, I really wanted to shoot with the K3. And the jury's out. I haven't shot with enough. I did buy a series of lenses for it, so I am still experimenting with it. But I bought it. It came from Moldova, and it took at least 6 months to arrive in the U.S.
Every day, Mike was like, "Where's that camera? It's not here yet."
Yeah, when you buy from overseas, and 60 days goes by, and PayPal's not going to cover you anymore because it's too late. You just pray that maybe this camera.
It's all part of the fun. It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
Hideo Toshiba says Nikon FM3A is the greatest SLR ever made. Agree or disagree? And if you disagree. Who takes the crown? Okay, let's send it around. Let's start with Owen. Owen has an opinion ready.
SRT 101, Minolta.
Whoa.
Underdog. Way.
Wow.
Super underdog camera.
Okay, Mike, how about you?
Canon T90.
T90? Okay, Marco is ready with one.
FM3A is an excellent camera. I'm not going to disagree.
One vote for the FM3A. Okay.
2 votes.
2 votes. What about you, man? Did you say?
No, I don't really have too many like.
He doesn't shoot 35 millimeter.
Well, I'm not trying to be like
small.
a 35. I'm not like a 35 prude about this, but like I don't shoot enough. I like the FM2, so I guess I would like the FM3. I just never used one. Trev let me touch his, and then he told me for 2 hours about how it was the best, and I kind of like glazed over and went back to my 8x10 camera. So like,
that's a question throwing out to the audience.
Okay.
Like, are you guys and gals? Are you processing your own film, or are you sending it to your lab? What's your favorite lab?
Yeah, and who's processing their own movie film? Who's doing it?
Owen is.
Besides me, I know I'm not the only one.
I process my own still photography film, and I send my movie film to FPP.
Across the door to be scanned. I process almost all of my film.
You did the video on it, right, for FPP all those years ago.
Yeah. There's not much I send out. Very rarely.
I can't wait for this one. John?
What?
Where's your film that you shot?
It's in a bag in your office.
There are bags and bags of film undeveloped. John,
develop
yeah, a
anything.
year. I'm talking 5 years.
Oh my God! I
He
have
puts
my
them
whole
in.
life.
He puts them in milk jugs. He just has there's a bunch of cans.
There's over 30, 40 rolls.
Yeah.
We'll do it when
Okay.
you kick the bucket, and we'll.
We were going to get together and do it like maybe a roll or two a week, but we never did it.
Mark, John's done.
I love shooting. I don't like the rest. I'm sorry.
I develop all my own film, color, black and white,
Do you occasionally send out?
ECN2, C41. Sometime, well, if I've got a bunch of slide film, since that's a different process, it's hardly worth me getting all the chemicals out just to do one. So I'll save a couple rolls if
Where
I
you
do
send
it.
your
to
slide.
the dark room.
You send it to the dark room.
Yeah.
Not paid ad, by the way.
No, it's not.
There's
But
greats.
you know, the other thing is you save a ton of money, and it's still magic when that stuff comes out.
And it's
you
so
know?
easy.
Yeah,
It's
it is
really.
easy.
I mean, the equipment today, it's like anybody could do it.
And color film is the easiest of all to develop because
Yeah.
everything is the same time.
And now with the immersion,
Yeah.
whatever those are called,
The heat helper.
heat helpers, and they're so cheap. I mean, before those, when they were too expensive, like I used to send a lot of my color out because I was like, I'm not gonna waste water, trying to get my chemicals up.
yeah.
And now you stick that thing in there, you walk away, and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
Matt?
Great. I'm developing all my own black and white, and very shortly here, my buddy Stephen Takis unearthed his Morse G3, and it's the one that doesn't have the slide film door. So I'm going to try my hand at some of the FPP, maybe the Yeti, and maybe some 400 because I love that stuff. 400 is clean.
Yes.
It's like I don't know why it looks cleaner than the 100. You said it's not, but it looks cleaner. I don't know.
So Matt is going to, not that Owen hasn't, but Matt is going to demystify
The Morse.
developing your own motion picture film.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll do a video, right?
I'm planning on doing some sort of video for it. I don't know to what extent because, you have to warm up people to the idea of motion
Right.
after you've been talking nothing but these big sheets.
The
all
only
years.
difference really is the tank. That's it.
Yeah.
The
Talk about
process. I mean, unless you're doing
Reversal
black
or
and white
whatever.
reversal, it's a
Yeah.
little bit different. But if you could do still film, it's just a different tank and
Yep.
more film.
Any folks out there, what lab did they go to?
Oh, a lot of people talking that
Photomat?
that they send their stuff to the FPP. They do their own black and white. They buy FPP chemicals. Let's see. Somebody uses Photosmith in Dover, New Hampshire. People are asking for. Let's see. They're talking about Santa Color in the comments. Let's see. Mark Hanna develops all his own black and white large format, and then sends color and movie to the FPP.
Nice.
Or sends movie to the FPP. Let's see. Yeah, we have a lot of people that are DIYing. It's the way to go. You can save a whole lot that way.
Yeah.
The only thing you really can't do yourself is scans.
Yeah.
Scannings. That's a whole bear.
There have been the last 6-8 months. There are a lot of new films trickling into the U.S. Santa Color, Flick Film. I'm so involved with FPP and what we're working on that it doesn't either make the way to us. I'm not aware of it. I only learn about it by going on Trevely's or the Darkroom's Instagram feed to see them testing various films.
Yeah.
But Mark, you test a lot of.
2 rolls should give you a pretty decent idea of what you're dealing with, When they come to you, shoot them at the box speed that they come at so you know where you're starting from.
Right. I'm leaving it up to you to wind it down, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, let's wrap her up.
Okay.
I think we're pretty good.
Folks, this is first time out, and we're gonna look at the replay, be like, hey, how'd we do? Of course, comments are always appreciated. Old-fashioned emails, podcast@filmphotographyproject.com.
Bing bang.
P.O. Box 264, Fairlawn, New Jersey.
That's correct, 07410. Occasionally we do get a box of treats.
Yeah.
So anything that's sent to the FPP that is edible, it goes right to...
My belly.
I want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank, all the folks that have supported the FPP over the years. All of the FPP insiders, Darren, Ballard, Riley, the Smooth Sailors.
Yep.
They have been the soundtrack of the FPP all these years. And of course, I don't know the URL, Darren, but I always say go to Google, which no one knows what it is anymore.
Google.
You know Bing?
Go to Bing. Oh, no, go to Mr. Jeeves
Ask Jeeves.
Jeez.
and type Darren Ballard Riley Music, and it'll come up right up to his Bandcamp.
Oh, let me drop his Bandcamp in the comments.
And also, special shout out to Leslie Lazenby, who normally
Yes.
would be here.
Yes.
She couldn't make it this weekend, but she's
Greatly
missed.
missed. Greatly
But we'll see
missed.
her next time around.
all the folk, yeah.
And to Matt, who pulled this all together.
Now it's like
Oh.
everyone can tune out. It's all just self-congratulatory
Yeah.
now.
No, that's all right. We'll
and
go
me,
And you, Mike.
I'd like to congratulate myself and thank myself and give myself a big pat on the back. Thank you, Dee Dee.
No,
Pat yourself on the back,
yeah,
Mike.
we'll just go around. We'll do one high
Oh, yeah.
Noria, and then we'll roll out with. I think we have some more Ballard to go out with. Right?
we have the world famous, great, best song ever, the song that we're gonna roll out to.
Great.
Surprise
Oh,
hit.
by the way, the song. So when I edit the FPP, if you hear this back, you'll hear all the and ums. What I do when I edit is I take all the ums and the ahs, and sometimes like breaths, and I put them on their own timeline. So it's like and then I sent it to Darren. I'm like, Darren, what could you do with this? And he made a song out of it.
And here it is.
It's heavy.
The great Ah has spoken.
All right, let's play it out.
Thanks, folks.